was eventually tabled. But my motion was, in essence, that we reduce your salary by $400 a month because we had assigned that job to someone else. So I think that needs to be discussed again because we did table it. You are here. You have a chance to speak your piece in all fairness. So
I guess my first question would be, where did the $400, where did that figure come from? What was that based on?
when you were initially hired, that was part of your salary, was $400 a month for your IT duties, which you haven't had a chance to do or whatever, but that you weren't doing.
And I guess I'm not aware of that $400. That's not in my wage agreement. That's not in the job description. I guess where you said that was when I was hired. I don't recall that.
I tried to write everything down. I didn't find it in my notes, other than he said that he was going to help with the IT. That's why I wanted to table it, is because I wanted to look at it. So
IT historically, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm a new employee also, but that's been done with the clerk's office. And the county clerk at the time, wasn't it? Terry,
yes,
was doing it. And then Scott Houtman and I were co-doing it there for a while. He was working for the clerk's office. And I remember a conversation I had, and I think even you were there, and I just told Scott, I said, hey, I'll be a tool in your toolbox, call me whenever you need something. Excuse me, you're the guy that's here at the courthouse, not me. And we kind of left it like that, and then Scott left, and I became the primary IT guy. And then I came, it was either September or October, I'd have to go look at my notes, of last year, and said, here we had an issue, our first issue, and it was the network went down while I was on an EMS transfer to Denver. Well, when I'm doing patient care, I don't answer my cell phone. And I came back with the recommendation that I not do IT work anymore because I'm not available like what you guys were needing. You can contract that with a local contractor to allow me to keep going on transfers, because the transfers are going to make you a lot more money than me doing your IT work. You can't find another person doing your transfer. You can find another person doing your IT work. And so that was, 14 months ago, but we never talked about a money differential in 14 months. And so all of a sudden it's coming up. I guess I'm a little confused. I know it's a different set of commissioners, and it's,
Well,
but I just don't have anything.
I think we need to find out just exactly how that was structured back then. I think we can talk to the previous chair, Dale. We can talk to Mr. Kestner, previous commissioner, so that we get 3 people that were here at the time. That's the only fair way for us to get to the
Well,
consensus on
the
this.
chairman has looked into it a little bit.
I was here at the time, and I tried to write down everything, and after that, I looked in all my notes. I didn't find anything that said that we were going to designate $400 of his salary. He was going to assist in the IT work, but that's...
I said I would help, and I did say that. And it got to, we had our first issue, and I came to the board with that issue.
I just wanted to know, you know what I'm saying.
And I thought that was mutually agreed upon, that I wouldn't do the IT work, so I could be available for the transfers. If not, we can, well, it's too late now. You've already put somebody in that position, but we could have gone back to that. That was as much the board's decision as I thought my decision.
Well, yeah, but if he ain't going to be here, how could you possibly do that?
Right. I did have some...
Especially being the primary guy, like being the backup guy or something like that, maybe. But
I did ask Mr. Miller what he thought, and he thought that you were going to take it over, but I don't think their salary was talked about. So I did have some communication with him when this came up previously. So I think we need to look back and see what the minutes say and job description.
Let's table this again then and continue trying to research to get clarity, to be fair to the county and to be fair to the individual.
Do you agree with that, Bruce?
Yeah,
I think
that's
probably
fine.
the best thing to do is to do our homework.
I wish we had this. You know, that'd make it easy.
Do you have
I think that's a good move.
So I'll need the minutes from that meeting, his wage agreement. Is there an updated job description?
No, unfortunately, the former clerk was paid $400 a month, and it was taken out of the computer fund.
Okay.
It was a set amount. It was not susceptible to cost of living or anything. It was just a flat fee.
And then because I will tell you my initial gut reaction upon hearing this, because currently Eric is getting $400 out of the computer fund.
Well,
No.
it's really a mess
Okay.
because it was the understanding that with the $60,000 salary, $400 of that, or this is my understanding, with the $60,000 salary, $400 of that was to go to be IT. With Mr. Miller, it was a separate entry in
Because I'll tell you,
payroll.
without it being a separate entry, I think it's going to be impossible to establish that there was an agreement that was separate. And
Right.
I think as a commission, we probably want to look at, if we're going to have someone doing IT separate, we shouldn't just say, oh, that's just part of their salary. It needs to come in separately,
Well,
to make it clear that those two things are separate.
This is a good time to do it before we set up our,
in moving forward, yes.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the $400 for IT has not been budgeted for 2016. Ideally, $400 should have been budgeted in the computer fund for those services. So in 2016, it isn't budgeted for, because it was always assumed that it was part of that $60,000, which is in the ambulance
which is in
salary.
the ambulance fund. So
It's really a mess.
And just for clarification, I am being paid out of Reed's budget, is my understanding.
Right. That was the decision of the
Yes.
board, and that is in the minutes a few months ago.
But that's
because
a really...
It's really messy. It's
It is
really-
messy.
Okay, so what I will need is minutes,
Okay.
wage agreement.
Yeah.
I mean, I can already,
Yeah.
my gut is 85% that there is not going to be enough documentation there to actually establish that there was a separate agreement at $400 a month. And quite frankly, I think we're in a really weird, ambiguous area when it comes to our current agreement. I mean, and ultimately this will, I think, will be an issue that we'll need to address. I think what we need to start doing in the future, so 2017 on, is separately contracting out the IT services, whether or not that be to a county employee or to someone outside of the county, but that way so it's clear that we don't get into this confusion of,
Yeah.
is someone just being a good guy and stepping up and doing extra stuff, or are we actually paying them additional money?
Right.
So minutes, wage agreement,
Job description.
job
There is a
description,
Policy handbook.
and then anything you have
Yeah,
on
we're gonna
where the
address that.
$400 to Eric is coming from now.
Well,
That's in the minutes.
that is in the minutes.
Yeah.
That is in the minutes, and it was taken out of the ambulance because that's where it was put. And it only amounts to $800. I mean, it's
For
not
this year, it only
a lot
amounts
of
to-
amount.
but it's a lot of money next year.
But when we go into 2016, it really needs to be cleaned up big time. Like I say, it wasn't budgeted for, per se, for the payment of Mr. Harper for the IT services. So how are you going to pay him when it wasn't budgeted for? So when he was supposed to be doing it, it came out of the ambulance. That payment came out of
We
there.
need to, we
So
definitely,
when Terry was doing it for 400, did it come out of the clerk's budget?
No,
No.
it
No.
was
Computer budget.
See,
And this
it
is
So
why-
why isn't it still in the computer?
because it wasn't budgeted for there. As we've gone forward,
Because I'm not budgeting that in the ambulance.
when
budget.
Terry quit, it wasn't budgeted for anymore. I mean, that computer fund, it was $4,800 in personnel, and at the end of the year, it was zero and it was clean. Once he quit, it wasn't budgeted for anywhere. So where are you gonna pay it from? It's a mess. So
Okay,
we do need to get it cleaned up moving forward and relatively quickly. It's something that can't be tabled for a long period of time because I'll be putting those budgets in shortly after the first of the year based on the budget that was approved at budget time. And there isn't anything in the 2016 budget for IT.
there's no money in the computer fund for 2016 at all.
There is
Not for-
limited
well,
funds in it,
not for-
but
not
it's for
for IT.
contract materials.
Okay.
For the contractual services that the county provides, yes. For personnel services to pay an IT person, no.
Okay,
We've got to get the clear cut answers from minutes and everything
Yeah.
before we can do anything, because
Just
I think there might have been some assumptions made.
that's what it
let
sounds
me know
like.
your budget.
See it one time.
One quick question.
Yes.
See, that's what
Do you
we
guys
need.
mind,
It's just a separate person.
since I don't have the Rollins
There's
County
nothing
pickup
there this
anymore,
year
to
because
take the
they-
Cheyenne County
the old
pickup home
board
at
put it
nights,
into his
so I can
salary.
respond to Bird City
But
like I did
it
with the Rollins
sounded,
County
what
pickup.
happened though, is it was
Rodney?
an informal, nothing. I mean,
Sorry.
yeah.
No, I just, I thought about that the other night, so.
What's that? Rod,
Pardon?
we asked if we have any trouble or any problems with him using the county pickup to respond for Bird City stuff. I don't have a problem with that.
Before I used the Rollins County pickup, and we just reimbursed mileage between the two counties, but now that we don't have that, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Amanda?
Deb, when are you gonna get that stuff to me?
As soon as I can.
Pretty far behind. Go ahead, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at this.
Also, I didn't know if there was any action taken on my resignation letter before or not. I made up a new one effective today, so I don't know if you want to act on the previous one or you want to act on this one.
We'll need to act on this one.
Makes no difference to me, so I'm sorry, I just made
That's
it
fine.
through, so.
Here we
I
go.
do need a copy for your file.
The county appraiser is resigning effective today. And of course, the new resolution.
I reviewed the new resolution.
Okay.
Well, anyway. Wrong spelling? Sorry.
You know, I got a problem.
It was late.
Are you throwing a New Year's party?
You are
I
not.
brought donuts.
So we do have an amendment, a resolution to appoint her.
Yes.
But I think we need to make,
Certified now.
I think we need a motion to accept his resignation.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept the resignation of one Bruce C. Webb as county appraiser.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. It's been a real pleasure.
Drinks are on you.
And I'm out of here.
See you, Bruce. Thanks.
I have a request, 10 minutes of executive session to discuss non-elected personnel, and ask that just to the commissioners.
What about
I'll make a motion that we enter into executive session to discuss non-elected personnel. How long will this be?
10
10
minutes?
minutes.
10 minutes. We will re-adjourn at 20 minutes to
Reconvene, not re-adjourn.
20 to 11.